James, welcome to the first episode of our 10 minutes, although I'm gonna try to keep it to 10 minutes. 10 minutes with James Fitzgerald. So many of our exchanges, it's been centered around context, and it's always about context. And I feel something that I think is really important right out of the gate to just clarify a perspective on is the term athlete. The term athlete gets thrown around a lot in circles, whether it's imposed upon by the person calling themselves that, or clients or coaches or businesses saying they're going to make you a athlete or whatever. And I know you have strong thoughts around the purpose of that word and the meaning of that word. And I thought we might actually take this first episode and just talk about that.
I generally come up with, a conversation on a specific topic is always ask or always first think about before we create an answer to it, or possible answer is, why are we asking that question? And I think we need to stay there first or tease that out a tiny bit. Because if this was 1935, I think that it'd be a pretty simple answer as to what an athlete is. And I think that the fact that we're asking a question about what it is today is the answer in itself. That we're not even clear on what that means. And if you're in the fitness world, everyone knows why that's being questioned today. Or maybe if you're 18 or 22, you don't know why.
Right.
But, if you're older, there was once a time where it was pretty clear that it was a respected position of someone choosing said sport or activity, and they were willing to do whatever it takes to basically, make it happen. And you can just add a side story to the area of drug-free sport as to why that even exists. People are, I can't believe there's drugs in sport. It's like, you don't understand sport then, and you don't understand the athlete's perspective. It's not meaning it's right or wrong, but it's like trying to do whatever is possible in your material possessions to reach maximal physical expression. And that will result in something, whether it's love and acceptance or freedom. And so it does make sense to me when you say an athlete, it means something where people are going to go after something and they're going to lose everything for it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we start.
Yep.
Because then if you go slightly to the left of that, where you try to make it a little bit more gray, then we start getting conversation on the weekend warrior and, someone who runs a 5K in 32 minutes for the first time, calling themselves an athlete,
right,
et cetera. Like it gets gray. So, I'm a little bit more of a purist in regards to that. That's one reason why I like to separate athlete versus participant. I'm also, privy to what's happening within the fitness world today, and it's really causing a confusion for everyone because it throws off most people's alignment because they're being sold through the shoes and wearables and fitness regimes and fitness movements that they can be an athlete too, and this is what you should aspire to be. And in the same manner, it's just trying to get everyone on board. I kind of laugh about it, but I'm not sure why Navy SEALs or war heroes are, the top people we go to look for fitness books and fitness programs. That's right. And there's nothing wrong with that either, but just think about that. Like, why are we going in that direction to see who's the leader in fitness and who determines what fitness is and how to do it? But I just use that as an example of people striving to be something that they have no chance ever of becoming. And we sold that, I was a part of that too. We sold it as being like, everyone can be an athlete. Why? Well, we didn't really think about it, but people above us who were smarter knew about it because they were thinking, oh, they're going to buy our gear. They're going to participate in our program. They're going to sign up in our gym. So in the end, it comes back to haunt you because your alignment is incorrect. So the athlete, in my definition, is someone who goes for pleasure and pain and points and prizes, lots of P's, with the sacrifice of looking for maximal physical expression and willing to lose everything for it. And then then you can, then someone could sit back and go, oh, well, am I an athlete? And you may be a master's athlete, competing in the CrossFit Games, and you may want to call yourself an athlete, but if you were to strip it down really hard, it's not going to take you away from still competing, right? But if you strip it down really hard, and if I was to lay your priorities out, and I was to see that you're not willing to give up your relationship or your family or your work or, your health, then I think you'd think differently of calling yourself that. You'd call yourself a participant in the sport of CrossFit, as an example, right? So yeah, that's where we put that into, Michael, we put that on the table. This is not like as of today, we're like, oh, we came up with this, we put it on the table and kind of tried to meander our way around working athlete into that fitness model, that working model. And it just didn't work. And, and with today's day and age, with political correctness and all, the conversation is uncomfortable to even have for a lot of people. Like, they're like, who are you to say that people can't be an athlete? Especially with the Nike's logo and everyone buying into everyone's an athlete if you got a body perspective. It's like, no, you're not an athlete. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you don't fit that definition. And maybe that's just in my mind, but it would create a lot of clarity and better alignment if we were to be okay with that. But it makes a lot of people uncomfortable because they'll go after, like, well, people are on sugar and diabetes is so prevalent, and who are you to stop people's motivation towards becoming better? That guy's got nothing to do with it. It's actually fraudulent for you to label them something they're not. Instead, why don't you say you're sick, you're diseased, you're responsible for it, now move slightly to the right of that. Why don't you be honest with people, right? Don't take a goal that's like 25 years away and unattainable and be like, oh yeah, just with a couple of weeks and some hard work, you too can wear your Fitbit and your nanos and you'll be there.
Well, and to that point, and maybe my one follow-up, it's not that you're taking something away from somebody, because I can only imagine that as a person, as a new client, as somebody who comes to you with aspirations. Earlier, when you talked about what they're willing to sacrifice, I think obviously it's very important to have a resonance between you as the coach and them as the client, athlete, weekend warrior, so that you can gain pure clarity on what their actual goals are and what they truly are willing to sacrifice, so that you can, just be true to what's there versus, And how is that taking something away from anybody? I mean, that's...
Yeah, man, that's where you just gave the answer to it. That's where it's at. It's conversation. You got to, have the time to sit down with people and actually ask the questions on their definition of fitness and their definition of longevity and their definition of their purpose. And you got to ask them what they believe is to be true, because they'll come in and be like, oh yeah, I saw the sign and I see the marketing and I read the magazines and I want to be an athlete. And you're like, well, why are you doing exercise? What's the main underlying reason behind you wanting to go towards this athleticism? And then that comes up with a couple of answers. And then the coach will be able to say, well, why do you feel that way about those reasons? And it's not pestering. It's not psychology lying on the couch. It's just conversation. Like, let's get to the real bottom of like why you're doing this. And then by the end of the conversation, most times they're like, yeah, you know what? That was a dumb idea, right? That was a dumb idea. But this is where coaches are masterful. Will they go, you know what? I'm not judging you for coming in with that. No, that's not my place, right? I'm accepting of that. I see good in every person. To give you right direction going forward now. So imagine if we had that in coaching, right, where folks can come in and they're not threatened based upon the coach telling them that's incorrect alignment. But it's like, well, I'll let you fall in my hands and then I'll guide you now, right? You're going in a good direction.
Well, or no different than take a client that you've been working with for any number of years that maybe now comes up with a new goal or a new aspiration that you have to really vet out and offer again. Maybe that there's sacrifices of what it's going to take to acquire that goal, you have to dialogue with them to make sure that they are either willing to take that step, or you as the adult in the room are going to be like, well, then let's really discuss what we really want or what we're really going to give up.
I won't segue this too hard, but the first thing came to my mind and why I laugh about it, there was, I don't know why, but I had a number of middle-aged male clients in Calgary who, you know, during the winter, over a period of years, I worked up there. I don't know why this would happen, but it was all the time. They would show up, and out of the blue, they'd be like, dude, I'm gonna build my basement. I'm gonna outfit my basement, which in Calgary, it's prevalent, right? There's nothing down below in the home, but there is a basement. So they're like, I'm going to drywall that shit. I'm going to put up boards. I'm going to build out a man cave. I'm going to do that, you know? And you're talking about this new goal that just comes up, right?
Right.
And I don't know why it made me smile, but every time I would have to take an hour to break this wealth, time, pain management thing, because every person prior to that I was like, oh yeah, it's a good idea. We'll work lifestyle and exercise around it. Back pain, right? Out for months, you know, out for months. And so every time that male would come up and they'd come like 20 seconds would come out of their mouth, I'd be like, okay, let's go right back. How much money do you think you're saving? Have you prepared for this physically? Are you willing to spend 6 months on PT 3 times a week for the next 6 months after, you know? And by the end of it, they're like, whoa, dude, you know, I just thought I'd build a basement, but you've obviously changed my goals.
Do you have a name of a good contractor?
Oh, dude, I had like 3 different people. I was like, they understand where you're coming from. Psychologically, they'd be able to help you.
Talk about a referral system.
I know, which was indirect. You know, it wasn't the purpose, but geez, they used to get beat up. And it's all for good intent, right? They were like, I'm helping my family. I'm going to build a room. You know, I'm going to keep us warm down there. Oh, man. Needless to say, they get spit out like 5 weeks later. They've been up, you know, all day Saturday and Sunday, plus working their 9 to 5, plus with 3 kids, you know, just slaving at it, missed every workout. And they come back in and they're like, oh, Fitzy, my back is still busted up. I need a new program. Jeez Louise.
Well, James, buttoning up our first episode, thanks so much. Always a pleasure, and looking forward to all the episodes here to come. So have a great day.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you.
All right.